I'm live. Looks like I'm live. Hey, everybody. I'm going to pull it up on my phone so I can see comments. How is everybody today? Hi, Linda. How are you today? All right. So today, of course, we're going to be doing a grapevine. But I'm going to show you a cheater way that makes this go really quick. I already gave the grapevine base a haircut. So that means I just went in and I trimmed all the little squiggly pieces and crazy pieces and just made sure that it'll lay flat. And I did it for both sides. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Linda. And Linda, you're doing your knee exercises. That tells me you might have just had some knee surgery, maybe, possibly. My mom had one knee replacement done, and she needs to have the second done, but she says she's not sure she wants to do it. So I'm not sure. Must be a pretty lengthy, stressful recovery. So I hope you're doing well. What board am I using to hold the grapevine? Miss Linda asks. It is, I wish I could remember the wonderful little ladies who made this. They were at Crafters Convention, the first one, and they had a booth set up. I will try to find out who they were and I can link it if you guys are interested. But it's just got a little chain in the middle so it folds up. It can fit nicely anywhere. But yeah, that's what I use for a stand. I really want one like Lori's. But for now, until I get my backdrop and the new filming area staged, this is what I'm going to be using. Did a partial replacement. Well, I hope you're doing well. I can't imagine that to be fun. Okay, so first we're going to take our sign. We're going to be using this Let It Snow Snowman. Pretty sure I got this at Hobby Lobby. So you should be able to find this right now. I already went ahead and put my cable tie mounts on the back and put E6000 on it. You guys saw me do this last week. It's had time to set up, so I'm just going to run my pipe cleaners through that I'm going to use to attach this to the base. Now I'm using brown pipe cleaners because they'll blend in with the grapevine fairly well. It won't stick out like a sore thumb. All right. So the first step you need to do, or the second step after you give it a haircut, is you need to decide which side you're going to put your florals on and which side you're going to put your sign on. I don't know why. I just always prefer my florals on the left, my sign on the right. And as you can see, this grapevine is kind of wide up here, more narrow here. So I really like the way this lays better. And I can cover this with florals and you'll never know that it was there. So if you've got little pieces like this, just go ahead and break them off. Let me make sure that's the right side that I want to use. Yep, that's the better side. All right. And that's sitting very nice, I think. All right, so we're going to go with that. Now, once you've decided how your wreath looks best hanging and where you're going to place everything, go ahead and start with your sign. So that's about where I like it. When I'm using a long vertical sign like this, I try to center it. I don't like it sticking way out here on the other side because that means I'm going to have to put it in a bigger box, and I don't want to do that. So I always bring it in some so you see a little bit of the grapevine, and then I try to center it between top and bottom. This one That one looks about good right there. I know his little scarf here hangs out a little bit, but there's not much I can do to avoid that without turning him really sideways, and I don't want to do that. So we're just doing minimal hangover because we have to. So at this point, I will lay it down. It's just easier to put your sign on when it's laying on the ground. And I do attach the top first. That's way easier if you do that than if you try to do the bottom first. Okay. Now the tricky thing about signs is you have to really watch where you're placing those pipe cleaners because it can throw off the way your sign lays. So if you have to take it off and you know, place it again several times, do so until you have it right. Okay. So let's see how that lays. A little better. I keep getting it too far off. So let's go out a little bit. Yeah, I could attach the sign before I come live with you guys, but I want you to see that it's not always easy. And sometimes, you know, you have to play with it until you get it right. I think this is going to be way better. Hi, Sherry. Thank you for joining us. All right, I like that. We're going to tie that one down. Just give it a few good twists, and then we'll come down to the bottom and get it tied on. Let's see how that looks. All right, this needs to come out a little bit. You see where you can actually see space right there? I don't like that. When I'm placing my vertical sign, I don't want to see a space here. I don't want to be able to put my hand there. I just want to see a little bit of grapevine. So that tells me I need to move my sign a little bit over. Not all signs are hard to place. I just find the vertical ones a little bit more challenging sometimes. Just because you can't tilt them too far without them looking funny. I think I'm going to be okay with that because this just ain't working for me. All right, there we go. Way better. I can't put my hand through there now. Okay. Next step, I told you I was going to show you the cheater pumpkin eater way. All right, so we've got it set in the way we want it. We are going to take this is a 9-foot flocked garland that I got at Walmart. And as you can see, I've already cut off of this piece. I love to use flocked garland. Oh, what you're going to do is take and spread a section of it out flat. Put it up here to your base. Kind of shape it to the base and measure out enough to come all the way around. Okay. Come on. And then cut it off. Let's move this out of our way. So now you've got this, let's see how long it is. It looks like actually about 35 to 36 inches is what I cut off. And you're going to take some super trusty zip ties. And start tacking it on. We're actually going to lay this down on the table as well. It'll just be so much easier. Okay. Now I tighten these down pretty tight because I don't want it to roll or move. And then you just turn your zip tie into the center so there's no poking edges out. Okay. Come a little piece down and put in another zip tie. You probably need about 4 or 5. I mean, you don't have to go too crazy. It's just not a heavy piece of garland, so. Ooh, that one went flying. Alrighty. Now I'm kind of separating the pine branches as I go, just so I can see the wire that they're attached to. And we're gonna have to fluff them anyway, so killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Now around this curve, the curve of the grapevine, I might put them a little closer together, like maybe 3 right here, just to kind of help maintain the shape of the wreath. So what this actually does is this keeps you from having to take all the time to individually place these flocked pieces that you would typically buy in a pick form or a spray form, and cuts down on your make time. I turn them in as far as I can to kind of camouflage them. It looks like I might use 2 more. 1 here to help keep the shape of the curve, and then 1 down here at the end. All right, 1 more zip tie. And we'll just go through. Come on, cooperate. All right. And after all of that, I put it in upside down. Melissa. I really should have brought my fan out here. It's hot. Hi, Lori. How are you today? I'm wrestling with some zip ties. They're not my friend today. All right. I think we got it. Yay. Okay. Now we got that on. The rest will be smooth sailing. Okay. Ta-da! Look how fabulous is that already. All right. It has been a weird day. What's going on over in your neck of the woods today? I mean, it's Friday, so Fridays are usually kind of weird in general. But what's going on? All right. Get my glue gun on. Dry my face a little because it's really hot in here. All right, the goodies I pulled to go with it are pretty simple. I got a little bit of frosted holly with some cotton and some berries that we're gonna cut down the pick and kind of place it in here and there and everywhere. And then I got these gorgeous little ornaments. The sad thing about it is you're not going to see this beautiful, crystal shimmery detail because I'm going to put them in like this. But really all I wanted was the snowflake part to kind of bring in the theme from what's going on the Frosty's hat there. Linda, for this cut from here to here to cover that much was about right about 35 inches. You could do 36 inches, depending on the sign. But this cut actually that I have on here is 35 inches. And this is an 18-inch grapevine base. I think I forgot to say that in the beginning. I apologize. All right, so we have this on. We have our sign on. The next thing you're going to want to put on is your bow, because then we will fill in around the bow. But the bow is the next biggest piece that you need to add. So typically when I add, my sign goes first, then I start on greenery, then I do my bow, then I add in this kind of stuff, the filler, and then I add in baubles last. Now, y'all are going to witness me trying this ribbon. I tried it once about 3 years ago when I first started, and I really wasn't a huge fan. It's this 4-inch accordion ribbon. And look, when you pull it off the spool, look what it does. Isn't that awesome? So I thought we're going to try to work some of this in. I don't think it makes an easy bow, personally. But we're going to go with it. We're using this today. You're very welcome, Miss Linda. Happy to answer any questions you guys have. Right now, I'm just trying to teach things that are quick and easy, that's going to help you get your shop stocked so you can maximize the most of this, holiday season. Let me get my Bodabra. Where is it? Oh, right here in front of me. I chose several ribbon to go along with this. I wasn't sure what I wanted. And since I'm not real sure that I'm going to make this into a huge bow, we're just going to start adding the filler part of this. So I'm going to roll it off. I'm going to pinch an end. And let's see where we want to start this. Just go right in there. I'm going to use the ties that we zip tied on here to tie this ribbon in. It's really stiff and it's 4 inches, so there's a lot of it there to tie in. Okay, there we go. Oh, might have to move these white pieces or the flocked pieces out of the way a little bit, and we'll form it around. It wants to roll that way. Which way are we rolling, ribbon? Okay, we're going to start this over because I don't like that. Woo. Hi, Melissa. Oh, Lori. We have those days. You allow yourself some rest, some grace. Self-care is very important. Okay, so using this ribbon, the way you tie it in is very important, obviously, because it makes it lie funny. So we're just going to keep rolling. Maybe I can cover that part with the bow. All right, so kind of folding it in half and letting it twist. I'm going to let that fall on the ground instead of fighting with it. So I'm going to bring it down this side of the wreath and tie another section in down here. I may twist that a little more. Yep. Come on. Again, I'm just using the ties that are on it. Pull that down just a little. Beautiful. That tuck a little. There's this really nice crease in the middle that causes the accordion effect. So that's what I'm trying to work with right there. Okay, I think that's cool. And then we will cut. We're going to have a little bit of a long tail here, and then I'm probably going to add another piece in to give a shorter tail. Just like that. Monday, Friday. Oh, Lori, it must be in the weather then, or the fact that it really is Friday, because if you didn't see the beginning, I played with that sign for a good, what, 10 minutes, guys? Or it seemed like 10 minutes. Okay, so just hold it up where I'm going to add it, kind of get the idea of how long I want it, and then that's where I'm going to cut it. I do think this ribbon is really pretty. I just think it's a little bit difficult to, wow, I wish you could feel how stiff this was. Very, very good ribbon. They have this at Sims. Oh, I need to look at Sims. I've never even looked at their website. All right, so we're gonna tie that in. I'm gonna open the same tie that I tack that one down, and I'm going to add this to it. And the reason I'm doing that is because there's so few ties on here, because this is just the garland. Okay, so now we've got two really nice pretty tails coming down. Woo woo! I got this ribbon in two other colors, so you're going to see me use it a little more. I got it in the buffalo plaid, and then this one's very reminiscent of a D. Stevens ribbon that I had a while back. It's the traditional Christmas colors with the cream. So you'll see me using those too. But this is my first time, so I thought it would be fun to let y'all see me make a fool of myself with this ribbon. Let you know it's okay. It's almost houndstooth-ish. Do I have a houndstooth? Yeah, I've got a houndstooth right here. Here's houndstooth. And then here's this. So this is more of a buffalo plaid than a houndstooth, but I think the accordion pattern gives it the optical illusion of you know, resembling a houndstooth. Okay. So let's see. Can I make loopings out of it? Not too bad. I might just do two. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see. Kind of hard to measure. That's half of 24. 12. Yeah. It sure would work for an Alabama wreath. Actually, what am I doing? I want 14. Okay, so we're going to try about 14-inch loops. Interesting. Are you an Alabama fan, Melissa? I think I remember that you are. I recognize some of the names on here from when I used to do lives, but I apologize. The exact stories I'm still a little rusty on. All right. I'm gonna cut this one with a little short tail. This was just two 14-inch loops with a little tail. I'm really squishing it here in the middle. I'm thinking this tail's gonna come up top like this. The loops are here. I may cut the tail off. We'll see. Maybe it would look better here, out to the side. I talk a lot when I design, so that's not too bad. I mean, it really is just kind of all over the place. If you are the type of person that you want a very proper, you know, nice, clean bow, this is not ribbon for you. This ribbon is wild and crazy, but fun. Okay, I'm gonna, where's my zip tie? I'm gonna zip tie this because this ribbon is really thick and stiff. You like Auburn too? The only football that we watch around here is Notre Dame. And then occasionally we get the feed to watch our Niners play, but most of the time we don't. So I'm using a zip tie down the center. Woo. Hope I didn't make it too tight that I can't get one in. Nope, I didn't. Then I put one behind it so I can attach it. Because this is thick and I'm not going to overload those stems. All right. Woo. This really might just end up being filler and we do a bow around it, y'all. I may have to do some playing with this ribbon, but I thought it'd be fun to try. Fun to try anyway. All right. Doo-doo-doo. I'm just running this around the grapevine. Then we'll tie it down. Lots of stuff floating everywhere. Okay. Okay, well. Absolutely love the tails. Does that make any difference? I love the tails. Okay, let's go on with the rest of the bow. All right, I gotta get my chair. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay, so I brought out several different ribbon. Sometimes when I have a hard time deciding what ribbon I want to use, I wait till I get about this point and I put it all together and see what just strikes my fancy. Here's my thought. Now that I have this accordion ribbon on here, all of these might be a little bit overkill because I still have to add in this and this. If it's a new ribbon craze, Lori, I'm going to have to practice a little bit because obviously it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. So we've got this pick that we wanted to put in. And we're going to cut this down into sections. We're not going to attach it in a big piece like I've shown you before. But we're going to add this in. And I think once you get all of this other stuff in, that might be a little much. So we might add some just little accent bows with a couple of those colors and just let this ribbon do the talking. I think that's what we're going to do. But anyway, at this point, like I said, if I have a hard time choosing ribbon, I will pull them all to my table. When I get to this point, I set them up and kind of, look back a little bit and look at them in relation to what's going on already on the wreath and the colors in the sign that I'm using and kind of pull from that. So you see, I pulled a nice green chevron, a sparkly red that'll pull some of the sparkle in from the sign, a red stripe. I've got black snowflake, which again pulls in the theme. Some trees, which I really like this. Some red stripes because you've got stripes and zigzags and chevrons. And then this kind of dainty, I thought we might put over the top. I can't find the end of that. Right there. That's like lacy. But I think all of that's going to be too much. So we're going to back it down. I just wanted to show you my thought pattern on that. So we're going to back it down, leave it to this stage, and we're going to go ahead and add these pieces next. And then we'll assess again at that point. So on a spray like this, want to look at the back where you can see, the vein that they attached everything to. And then you'll be able to tell sections that you can clip apart. Okay, so they put these together in like little bundles. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and this would be the 4th bundle. Okay, so we're going to clip at those veins, just below those veins. We don't need long stems for this because it's going to be glued into all of these pine pieces and not trying to weave it in through the grapevine. So we don't need a super long stem. You always do that too. I just want to show you guys that it's okay to not be certain when you do a design, that you can walk into it having just kind of an idea of what you want, but it kind of evolves as you go. Even when I started, I never really was able to completely plan a design saying, here, 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 boom, that's it. No, I mean, it always changes as I go, depending on, you know, how things lay. And a lot of time my mood affects it as well. Okay. These are really thick stems, and I really wish I had a stem cutter. I don't know how many of you know, but I have rheumatoid arthritis. So my hands don't always work as they should. Hi, Cece. Just a drive-by. Honk, honk. All right. Oh, my goodness. All right. Man, that was brutal. All right. So each one, as I've cut it off, I've kind of fluffed a little bit. Then we're just going to go around and place some. I have 2 of these. Your younger daughter has RA. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope she manages, you know, fairly well. I have good days. I have bad days. You know, you just learn to live with it, learn to cope. All right. So a lot of these pieces inside these little bundles, they turn. So if they're not facing outward, facing the right way, I want you to turn them. Okay. Don't be afraid to get in and move these pieces around and play with them. All right, so we're going to put that one down here, I think. See, these ribbons? Yeah, I'm going to have to play with them a bit. I am not at all familiar with working with this big 4-inch accordion ribbon. I love 4-inch ribbon, but I've not worked with this stuff much. And it shows. Okay, so since this is already a flocked base, you don't have to add a lot to it, okay? You're just old. I'm old. I mean, I'm gonna be hitting 50 here very soon. I was hit with the RA diagnosis after the birth of my 14-year-old. He was born premature. I had an emergency C-section. It was a pretty, you know, rough pregnancy. And 6 months after he was born, I went to bed fine one morning, and I woke up the next day flaring in 90% of the joints in my body, and I didn't know why. So it's just been, for the last 14 years, learning how to live with it and not let it interfere in my life too much. But you have to, I call it, I don't know if some of you have heard of the spoon theory. Like, I wake up each day and I have so many spoons, And so I have to designate, okay, maybe washing dishes costs 1 spoon. I have 10 spoons today. So if I wash dishes, now I have 9 spoons, you know. So I have to kind of like section my days out based upon the spoon theory. I know that sounds weird. And like on days that I'm coming live here, the day before, I can't do anything. I can't use my hands because I have to make sure that my hands are rested enough to be able to do the pulling and the tugging and everything. So it's it's hard some days, but you know, I try not to let it affect me. You know, it does keep me from doing wreaths from time to time, but only when my hands get so bad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to dump all that on y'all. But I know some of you know me from before and some of you are just meeting me. So just want to give a little bit of backstory as to who I am for those that don't know me already. All right, so we've got 2 pieces of that in. I have 2 of those sprays. We cut one down. I wanted to put one full one in and see how it looked. We will probably use all of the second one too. The trauma of your grandson's birth triggered it. Yep. See, that's what the doctors said too. You know, it was something that triggered my immune response. So yeah. Well, I hope your daughter's, you know, managing okay. So what I'm doing with these pieces is I'm just going around and trying to evenly space them. You don't want to put a bunch in one spot. And I'm just barely sticking them into the edge of the grapevine and then making sure some of this flocked branch is touching all the glue area, because then that gives it a lot of surface area to adhere to and they're not going to move. Aw, thank you, Cece. I'm still nervous as I'll get out. Like, you know, this is my first time doing this or something. I went back and watched the first live I did here in the group, and I just like cringed because I'm, you know, would misspeak or get stumbled on my words or forget to say something important. And I'm just like, really? I can do better than this. All right. That was all the pieces of that one. We're going to cut down one more. There'll be 4 pieces on it. I like the chunkier pieces. I don't want to break it down to more than 4 pieces because then I think it'll just be too sparse. And I like the clumpiness this gives. And once we get these other 4 pieces in, it's going to look really full. No knowledge of RA. RA is an autoimmune disease that it's an inflammatory disease, and it breaks down the synovial tissue and your joints. So I don't know if you can see, like right now my hand, I'm really poofy right in here. These joints tend to flare a lot on me. They're the ones I use the most, but that's the inflammatory response. So this joint actively is being broken down by RA right now. So my immune system is attacking my joint and the synovial tissue around the joint, which is the stuff that cushions it, and is breaking it down. So it's basically my body breaking itself down. It affects mainly your hands, hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, neck, hips, knees, ankles, feet, toes. So those are mainly the joints that it affects. So sometimes I find it hard to walk. So yeah, I mean, not only does it do that, but it causes issues with, you know, your internal organs as well. So it's just a really nasty disease that there's no cure for, that you just learn to live with. Oh my goodness. Wow. She had a seizure and quit breathing. Oh. And he has cerebral palsy. So does my son, but on the mild end of the spectrum. He can be self-sufficient. He doesn't need help bathing, eating, that kind of stuff. But man, I hope they're doing okay. Okay, you all know, as I've said before, I like to put stuff behind my bow that helps hold it up. So we're going to take this nice, really, you know, spready piece. I know that's not a word. And we're going to plop it right back here behind the bow. And this one I am going to stick just straight down into the grapevine. Got to get my little stool here. There's the bow. Come right here. It's a little difficult because I put the zip tie there. So you're just going to have to put it in the best you can and bend it to where you want it to lay. Like that. All right. Okie dokie. And my husband's going to get up soon. I'm going to ask him to bring the fan. Whew. We've got 3 more pieces of this to put on. I'm probably going to put 1 more up there and then put the other 2 right here in the center. And I think that'll give good even coverage and color dispersion throughout the wreath. Uh-oh, this one's coming apart. This one, the paper started tearing, so I'm just going to re-tape it. I've got some tape over here. Oh, Linda, if there's one thing I can tell you, there's hope, okay? Because it sounds like he's going through the same progression that my son did. And there is hope that he can live a fairly normal life with some assistance. I'm really sad, you guys. They announced yesterday, and I've been receiving tons of emails today. We just got put back on homeschool because cases are spiking around here. So my kids were just getting adjusted to being back in school and being with their friends, and now they're not able, and it's just so sad. All right, I'm going to put one right here coming out from behind the bow. And when I glue, y'all, I don't get skimpy. I use big globs. All right, get in there. You could see the little blobby of glue, so I was taking a white flocked branch and pulling it over it so you could not see it, just hiding the mechanics. That needs to be twisted on just a little better. The cotton's about to fall off. There we go. Better. All right, looks like we've got 2 more pieces. Where am I located, Miss Linda? I'm in Kentucky. I am in Kentucky. My daughter, my son-in-law, my granddaughter, all three just recovered from it this past month. And each one was different. My granddaughter was asymptomatic but tested positive. My daughter had like diarrhea and throwing up and a fever, but no breathing issues. And then my son-in-law had like really bad bronchitis type, symptoms. So it's just so strange. For whatever reason, this piece was really not wrapped well. So I'm just rewrapping the ones that weren't working. Oh, gravy, come on. I'm glad to see a few more of you lovelies on with me today. I was talking with Casey the other day that I thought maybe, I was still new and people didn't know that I was coming on Fridays. So I'm glad to see a few more of y'all on here with me. Okay, now we've got 2 pieces left. We really need to be calculated where we want to put them. They look about equal in size. This one has no ivy on it or holly on it, and this one does, this one doesn't. So this one you would probably want to put if I wanted. I've even got more of these. I could use 3, but I'm trying not to overuse supplies when we don't have to. I'm gonna take the one with holly and put it here on the inside, just because we need more coverage there. And I can kind of split it between the 2. Some of it can come out coming on the inside. Some of it can peek out of the ribbon here onto this side and kind of fill in there. And then I'll take this piece without the holly and put up there to fill in that spot. And then we kind of have even coverage everywhere. I hope so, Lori. I hope so. I mean, I think we all kind of second guess ourselves from time to time, don't we? And just getting back into things. There's so many new people, new faces, and I'm just excited to be here and have this opportunity. I always enjoyed teaching. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start to spread it out. I'm going to pull this long holly and this long string of berries to this side because that's where we need more coverage. And I'm just going to pull the little 2 pieces right here that'll kind of sneak out this side to kind of fill in. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to come in here under and kind of stick it in the middle. So that would be like in the middle of the top of the grapevine. That way it's in the center and can spread easily to both sides. Get it good and globby and just move things out of your way and bring it in. And we're doing the same procedure as last week. You lay it flat to the grapevine and you weave it in. You don't stick it straight through. You lay it flat and you weave it in. Okay. I'm going to pull some of the flocked pieces that I moved out of the way back to the center. Good thing about sprays is most every little piece on it is wired. So you can bend them however you need to. There. I think that's perfect. Yay. This one will go up top. You set alarms. That's awesome. Well, I am glad you lovely ladies are here with me. We can talk about whatever y'all want to. I'm open to topics. I'll teach as we go. I love it that Casey puts out a calendar for everybody. I think that's wonderful. All right, so remember I said that we're going to put this one up here to kind of fill in. So I got to get my stool back. It's not that I'm short. I'm a pretty tall woman, but my workshop table is, you know, belly button height. So when I've got it on a stand and I'm working on the top, I have to climb up here to see. I'm 5'10", so I'm not short by any means. I've got everything in my way. All right. Let's see. Come right in here. Here we go. I'm just unsure what to do with this little thing up here. It may go bye-bye. We'll see. Okay, so we got all that put in. Woo-woo. We're almost done. Now we've got 3 baubles. If you've just got 2 baubles, because sometimes, you know, you can only find 2, but you just love them. If you only have 2, you're going to want to put 1 up here and 1 over here, okay, to the side in the middle, and 1 up here. But if you've got 3, you're going to do 1, 1, and then 1 down here. Forms a triangle, okay? Hi, Kathy. Oh, Melissa, I knew I recognized your name. That's why I felt like I knew that you were an Alabama fan, or you did Alabama reads or something like that. But like I said, familiar faces. It's just being out of the game for over a year. You know, it's tough for calling from memory, but I will get better. All right, so for baubles, if I am using a flocked base, I don't tie them on. And the reason being is because there is enough surface area for these puppies to glue to. They're not going to come off, okay? So when you take and just glue the baubles on, you're going to really load up the glue on the side that you're sticking in. I mean, just glob it on. The more the better. And then where you place it, you want to make sure that there's flocked branches so you can nestle it in and kind of give it a twist and a turn so it grabs all of those pieces and it just like grabs and holds on. And once it dries, you will pull the wreath apart before you pull these pieces out. Okay, so I think we might like 1 there. I wonder if I should move that piece down a little bit. 1 here. I think we could still get away with that. And then 1 up there. Yeah, let's do that. So I take, if I'm not wiring them onto the wreath, I take the little top part off, okay? This part. If I'm wiring it on, I will E6000 those down before I put them on the wreath. All right, so I want 1 to sit right here on top of the ribbon. So I'm just going to take my glue skillet here and get a good bit of glue. I'll let that drip a little. Okay, see how much? I mean, it's on there. My glue's a little yellow. So make your nest, pull your pieces for it to adhere to. And make its little bed. Like I said, just twist and apply pressure. Okay. Hold it for just a second, and then you're good to go. Yep. Easy peasy. Hi, Carol. Thank you, Kathy. All right, let's see. One up there. I'm going to move these pieces back just a little and move those pieces down and over, because right there is where I'm setting that bauble. Right there. See? I only keep my glue pot slightly warm. Well, I've got it on about 350, I guess, because if you get it any hotter, it's so runny and higher risk of really burning yourself and doing some damage. Yeah, I'm wiggling and I'm applying pressure, and now we're golden. See, I'm pulling on that and it's not coming out just from that amount of time, because these flock branches are amazing for holding on to glue. All right, one more. Hi, Deanne. Well, welcome for your first time. Are you new to the Wreath therapy group or just to my lives? All right. Okay. I'm thinking we might add one more pick of this just to fill in a couple of places. Just wondering. No. Sorry. First time playing with this accordion ribbon, so I'm just like, what can I do with it? Oh, thank you, Linda. Oh, just to my lives, Deanne. Well, welcome. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me go get the one more pick so we can get it in real quick. And I'm not so sure I'm going to add any of the other ribbons to it. Let me get the other picks in, and we'll see. What did I do with them? Oh no, where are they? Oh, come on. I just had them. Oh, here. You know what? I could spoil that. Okay. If you wanted to beef it up some, you could totally put in a few flowers if you wanted. I'm not gonna, but I'm gonna show you. Just forming a poinsettia. think I got this one at Walmart. Yep, Walmart. So you've got your flowers. You could totally put them in as well if you wanted to make a, you know, a big design. Those are kind of cute, aren't they? Woo! I might. What do y'all think? Not bad. I might could do two. Where did I get the ribbon? I got the ribbon at a local store to me that doesn't have Etsy, nor do they have a website yet. They're working on it. But I think Lori mentioned earlier that Sims has it. I got it in 3 different colors. I got this, I got the red and black buffalo plaid, and then I got a traditional Christmas plaid. Congratulations, Tracy. Isn't that a great feeling? All right, let's see how the second one looks. Oh, this one was really wonky. Always, always, always make sure you straighten and fluff these pieces. Don't just put them in the way you take them off the shelf. Ta-da. Okay, so we could do one here, one up here. No, I think it's just too much. I think we'll keep it simple. Those don't even match. I have other little baubles. I'm just checking. Those don't match. So yeah, we're gonna add a little bit more of this and we're gonna call it a day. I think it's fine the way it looks. Oh boy, the cutting. The cutting. You know what? I'm gonna do it the easier way for me and just retape them. You like the poinsettias? Well, here's the thing. Sometimes I do like it and I really want to put them in there. But you also have to be conscious of your price point and the things that you're putting in there. So once I get to a certain price point on supplies, I really start editing myself. Does it really need that? Would it look good? Yeah, but you know, am I going to be able to sell it and get out of it what I need by putting all of that in there when it looks fine the other way? So that's kind of how I work things through in my head as I'm designing. You know, you want to make it look beautiful, but you know, you can over add and then do yourself a disservice by not being able to charge what you need to charge out of it. And then you end up not making any money. And that probably, Linda, is the hardest lesson that I've learned over the last 3 years, is that less is more sometimes, and just learning to edit myself as I go. You know, just because I like it doesn't mean that it has to go there. Now, sometimes, like, I'll put those on there and I just can't live without it. And sometimes I don't listen to my gut and I just do it. But on those, I know going into it, I'm probably not going to make hardly anything on them because I've put so much into them. I do love traditional red poinsettias. And the reason I think I like these so much is because they're just, I don't know if you can tell, they're just lined on the edges in red glitter, and then the glitter berries in the center. So it kind of pull in the glitter from the sign. But I just, you know, I want to be able, oh, now that I'm saying it, man, I don't want to put them in there, but I do. Let me go get the other one and let me see how all three would look. You guys. Oh, do y'all want to see something else? One of the next projects. I'll give y'all a sneak peek since I'm over here grabbing things. What do y'all think? We'll be working on this. Not today, but soon. I'll just put these down here for now. I'll put them away when we're done. All right, where's the third one? Let's fluff them out. Good. I'm glad you understood because I felt like I rambled on about that and might have confused people. So glad you understood the point I was trying to make there. Ultimately, we are doing this to make money. It's a business, right? So that needs to be first in our mind when we're designing. Well, maybe not first, but it needs, you know, to be something you're consciously thinking about. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to stick them in and let's just see. I have to push it back and stand back and look at it. Yeah, that's not the worst. Here's my only thing with it. The snowman has very little red. The only red is in through here. He's mostly black and green. So I just feel like the red takes the sign in a different direction. I'm gonna let you stand here and look at that for a minute and kind of soak in what I mean by that. You've got lots of red here, which is very dominant color. It's where your eye is drawn to when you look at this piece. It's the first thing you're going to notice are those 3 red flowers, okay? We designed this piece to make this the focal point and the accordion ribbon the focal point, okay? So because there's not an overabundance of red in the sign, it does not balance this design out to have the 3 red flowers here, okay? That's not been the case for you. See, Linda, you got exactly what I was just trying to say. They are overpowering. They draw your eye to them and not the whole of the wreath, okay? But to show y'all, I had to put all 3 in the right way. Linda, I don't wait for those customers. I design for the customers that I want. I hope that makes sense to you. But I design over the top statement pieces because that's the kind of client I like designing for. Now I will do basic wreaths. You know, I'm getting ready to start up on my business page again, and I will be doing basic deco mesh and that kind of stuff. But for the grapevine wreaths that I do, I like statement pieces, and that's what I design for. I design for the people who have that expendable income, that like to go all out decorating their home. But I was fortunate enough in the beginning, or maybe not so smart, however you want to look at it, I stockpiled a whole lot. I thought I had to build up an inventory to be a beginning wreath maker, which you don't. So I bought a lot of stuff and regretted it later. I'm still using stuff that I bought 3 years ago when I lived in Washington. So Man, I forgot where I was going with that. It'll come to me. Hang on. Do y'all do that? You'll be saying something and then squirrel. It's old age. All right. Right, Tracy? Stole the thunder. Stole his thunder. Well, probably almost 3 years ago, did this same sign, but did it on deco mesh. But I prefer grapevines. I specialize in grapevines, and I will always test and push my boundaries, trying to design new pieces. Okay, where do we want this one? I think right there. It needs a little bit. When I start teaching you guys my more elaborate way, we'll be here for 2 or 3 hours. So trying to do these short lives now that you can do fairly quickly. And I know they take me a little bit, but I play with things as we go and test things, and you guys should be able to just come in and boop, 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 plug things and go. All right. It's like I've got 2 more pieces of this, and then we'll call it a day. I might add a little bit more to the bow up top, but I'm not adding anything else to this piece. It's going to speak for itself. I mean, I say simple, but it's not really a simple look. To anybody who wasn't a wreath designer, they would look at that and be like, oh my God, wow. But we look at that and know that, you know, what it took to put in, you know, to create that. So they don't have to know. It just has to look expensive. This one's going up top, I think, and then one needs to go down here to balance it all out. But then I think we're good. Thank you, Linda. The simple wreath that I did last week got almost 2,000 likes in one group. So I'm going to say that simple and farmhouse are pretty popular this year. If y'all want to go that direction in some of your designs. My hand's screaming. The floral tape is super sticky, and it leaves a gummy film on my hands. So I keep a little bottle of hand sanitizer, and the alcohol cuts through the gummy a little bit. Because what I don't want to do is start handling the ribbon and other things with gummy fingers that get dirty from, you know, the dust and the dirt on the table. Because then you might get your stuff dirty. Pack a lunch, it'll be a long one. Yes, ma'am. I will try to remember to give you guys a heads up when it's going to be a long one like that. Oh, that one needs more tape, and I just cleaned my hands. Dang it. Oh, well. I'm going to do this the way I'm not supposed to, but it's going in with glue, so. All right. This one I wanted right down here, right? Yep. And a tip, if you get glue on something you didn't mean to get it on, let it sit until it dries before you touch it. And then once it dries, you'll be able to pick it up without damaging your surface. So don't panic if you get glue on something. Most of the time, if you let it dry before you touch it, you'll be able to pull it off all in one fell swoop. Oh, the sanitizer. Yeah, there's a lot of things bad for RA. But I work out of my garage, so I don't have like a hand washing station here close to use. That's going to go back there, I think. Where's my stool? Because it's up high. Okay. Now see how much gobby glue I use? I told you I'm not stingy. I'm not stingy. When you get stingy with glue is when your pieces start falling out. Go in, go in, go in. All right, ladies. I gotta do something with this bow. I just gotta fix it. Maybe if I pull the tail so it stands up, I'll be happier. But it just won't stand up. It's not like regular ribbon. So I'm gonna cut that out, I think. I'm just trying to twist it inside the zip tie that we used to secure the bow. Let me look at this from afar. It needs something up there. I'm wondering if this isn't the answer that I'm looking for right here. Just use this piece and swing it over right here. I think I might have done better if I'd cut it a little longer and given me more to work with, but I didn't. I thought it would stand up pretty. So if this happens and you just can't work it, cut it out, go down to the zip tie you tied it all together with, cut it out, and just pick in, create picks and stick in loops and tails as you need, where you need. Okay, I don't hate that, but I have to trim the wires coming out of the top. Actually, that ain't wire, that's plastic. Like, what's that stuff? Rock, I can't think of it. I can't think of its name. So, there we go. I like that little wispy tail coming out. It's better than it just flopping to the side. All right. Push it back so you guys can see the full effect. You'll have to play with the way your tail's draped when it lays on the door, of course. But there we go. Woo. I think I'm going to put something in the middle of the bow to hold those open. I had a couple of leaves. But no berries. Let me see if I can find some rogue berries laying around somewhere. right here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. I just took some berries that came off of another spray and the leaves that came off of these, and I'm going to create one more little one that's going to go right in the center. Hey honey, is that you? No. Would you please, please, pretty please bring the fan? I'm sweating so bad. I love you. I have an awesome husband, y'all. He's such a great help. He used to do lives with me. Some of you who used to watch me before probably remember him. All right. So I've got 2 pieces of red berry from another project, and we're gonna make a little pick here. Linda, be safe if you're going out and about, and I'll see you next Friday. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, baby. Just low will be fine. High will blow my glue everywhere. All right. I'm going to take some tape and a section of those leaves and the 2 berry pieces. Should I just do one? I'm going to do 1 berry piece. And we're going to tape these up together. Nice close-up view of my sweaty neck. I'm hoping the fan's going to cool it down in here a little bit. Okay, now here's what we did. We just made a little pick with those 2 pieces. I used tape to wrap around it. And we're going to stick it in the middle of that bow, and it's going to help hold those loopies open. The loopies? Are you making fun of me? He's making fun of me, y'all. The loopies. Maybe one day I'll do a face-on view and make him sit here with me and entertain y'all. Just like that. Woo! Perfect. And then they stay open. I wonder if I need to put one more, make it go up. We're going to try it. If it doesn't look right, then we just take it back off. No big deal. All right. I think we're putting one more in there. There she is. She's pretty. I'm glad you like her. Him, actually. It's a boy. So there we go. I hope you guys can see that. Oh, I got to cut off the pipe cleaners the sign's on with. All right, lovelies. That is going to conclude our lesson for this week. If you have any questions about what I did, just leave them down below. I will come back and answer them later. And hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye, ladies.